You're sitting in the doctor's office. The nurse wraps the cuff around your arm. It squeezes, and the machine beeps. You see the numbers on the screen. 115/58. You know that bottom number, the diastolic, is low. You feel dizzy when you stand up, you're exhausted by 2 p.m., and your brain feels like it's wrapped in a fog. But when the doctor walks in, they look at the top number, see it's under 120, and say, "Great news. Your blood pressure is perfect. Lower is better." If you've ever felt dismissed, unheard, or like you're crazy for feeling sick when your labs look normal, this video is for you. Today, we are breaking the silence on isolated diastolic hypertension. I'm going to reveal the 3 hidden risks your doctor likely isn't checking for, and why ignoring that low bottom number could be starving your most vital organs of oxygen. Before we get to the risks, we have to answer the big question: why do doctors ignore it? For decades, cardiology has focused almost exclusively on the systolic, that top number, because it's a massive predictor of stroke. Doctors are trained that high blood pressure is the silent killer, so in their eyes, a low number is seen as a safety cushion. But there is a massive gap in modern training regarding the J-curve phenomenon, a point where health outcomes actually get worse if blood pressure drops too low. Pause right now and drop a comment below with your last blood pressure reading. Was your doctor concerned about the bottom number? Let's see how common this dismissal really is. The first thing you must ask your doctor about is coronary perfusion. Most people don't know this, but your heart is a bit of a diva. While every other organ in your body receives blood flow when the heart contracts, the heart muscle itself receives its blood supply primarily when the heart relaxes, the diastolic phase. If your diastolic is too low, typically below 60, there isn't enough back pressure to push blood into the small arteries of the heart. You aren't just tired. You might be experiencing subclinical cardiac ischemia. Your heart is literally thirsty for oxygen. When you see your doctor, ask them specifically, with a diastolic of this level, am I maintaining adequate coronary perfusion pressure? Risk number 2 is the one that affects your daily life the most. We call it brain fog, but researchers call it cerebral hypoperfusion. Low diastolic pressure often fails to push blood against gravity to the brain, especially when you are upright. There are long-term studies linking chronic low diastolic pressure in midlife to an increased risk of white matter lesions and cognitive decline later in life. Do you feel lightheaded when you stand up quickly? Give this video a like if that's a symptom you've been told is just normal, because it's a key sign your brain isn't getting the pressure it needs. This third risk is the most dangerous because it's counterintuitive. Sometimes, a low diastolic number isn't a sign of a relaxed system. It's a sign of arterial stiffness. This brings us to a critical measurement most people overlook: pulse pressure. Pulse pressure is simply the difference between your top and bottom numbers. For example, if your reading is 120/60, your pulse pressure is 60. A high or wide pulse pressure, usually anything over 60, is a major red flag. It often means your large arteries have lost their elasticity and have become stiff like lead pipes. Instead of cushioning the flow of blood, they snap back too hard, driving the top number up and the bottom number down. This is an independent risk factor for heart attacks and strokes. On the flip side, an unusually low or narrow pulse pressure, where the gap is less than 25% of the systolic value, can be a sign that your heart isn't pumping effectively, possibly due to heart failure or valve issues. We actually already made a detailed video deep diving into exactly how to interpret your pulse pressure and what the specific ranges mean for your longevity, which you can watch later to get the full picture. But for today, remember to ask your doctor, is my low diastolic a result of high arterial stiffness or a widening pulse pressure? Now, I'm not just leaving you with the scary stuff. Here is how you get your doctor to listen. First, don't bring one single reading. Bring a 2-week log of home measurements. Second, link your symptoms to the numbers. Tell them, "Doctor, I feel dizzy specifically when my diastolic hits 55. Third, ask for a rule-out list. Have them check for vitamin B12 deficiency, chronic dehydration, or medication side effects, especially if you're on diuretics. You deserve to feel vibrant, not just clinically stable. If your doctor won't look at the whole picture, It might be time for a second opinion or a specialist who understands the nuances of the J-curve. But what if your low blood pressure is actually being caused by something in your kitchen? In this next video right here, I'm breaking down the 5 healthy foods that might be tanking your blood pressure without you knowing it. Click there, and I'll see you in the next one.